Okay, hey everybody. I hope you're all doing well. I'm Carson. I've been the guy mainly in communication with you. I'll introduce myself again. I'm the president of Georgetown Creators. Is my official title, but I'll be the guy that's going to be helping you along a lot in this process. I hope you all are doing well. I kind of mentioned this earlier. I'll repeat again. If you're not talking during this, make sure you keep your microphone muted. Most of you are doing a good job of that. We got to wait for one of my bosses, Brian, to log on and onto this. I texted him. I don't know where he is, but he's going to be helping us with this Quip overview. So yeah, I'm going to wait for him to get on, and then we can get started. So. Okay. I just heard from Brian. He's going to be coming on in a second. I hear some background noise. Make sure you guys. Sorry, I'll repeat this one more time. If you're not talking, make sure you have your microphone muted. As you can see, there's some background noise. All right, there he is. Okay, so I'll get started. Hi guys, I hope everyone's doing well. This is the very important onboarding session for Quip. Quip is the main learning software we'll be using. And in general, most of the sessions moving forward will be me and Eric, but today we're going to have it led by Brian. Brian is mainly on the publishing side of this whole operation. So you're going to be hearing from him periodically, but today you're going to be mainly hearing from you're going to mainly be hearing from him. So I'll turn it over to him if you're ready, Brian. Yeah.
Totally. Awesome. So I'm going to start off by sharing my screen and really kick off this thing about what exactly it is we're doing here today, because you're all really kicking off in earnest next week. The whole big purpose of this session here is to make sure you begin to feel comfortable with Quip, because that is going to be the platform that we're going to be working with over this entire course of your journey here. So getting really comfortable with it's going to be super powerful as you get acclimated, start doing work, having great interviews, creating stories, all those awesome things. And then also there are going to be other parts to this whole thing too, of how to use Quip effectively from a communication standpoint to really make the most of it, be set up for success on that one. And then lastly, expectations that exist and that we have for what you're going to be going through over the next several months here. So that way you're set up for success. And the first big thing that you need to begin to feel comfortable with, whether you've already been on Quip before, you've tested it out or not, and it's totally okay if you haven't, is to really understand what Quip is as a platform and how to use it most effectively as a tool to make the most of the next several months as you create everything. And the first big thing that I want to share with you all is, even if you have no idea what Quip is, you haven't opened it up yet based off the invite Carson sent you, is Quip is very easy to use, it's very collaborative, and it's awesome. And if you think of Quip as Google Drive meets Slack, you're going to be set up for success. If you use Google Drive before, Google Docs, spreadsheets, all that stuff, you know how Quip works from like a creation, collaboration standpoint. And then if you've used Slack or an instant messaging platform, you know how communication works as well. So really, Quip is Google Drive meets Slack, and that's just a great, simple way to describe it. The second big thing is there are 3 main killer features that I absolutely love about the platform that I want to share with you all, so that way you can use them too to your advantage, because they're little tricks and they're obvious and very intuitive, but they're very easy to miss if you don't think about it. And the first big one is the almighty tagging function, simply @ and then their name. So, at Carson Shutter, it'll pop up blue so you know that it's done. And it's really important that you know how to tag people, you do tagging of people consistently, because it'll make your life easier from a communication standpoint of quite literally you can tag people anywhere, in a chat room, private message, on a document, in a comment, and simply doing that makes sure that quite literally people are on the same page as you when you're having a conversation. So that's very important that you know how to do that, that you feel comfortable with that, and you do that consistently. The second big thing is the notification squad of Quip, of using notifications to your advantage. When anybody ever tags someone on something, whether it's at everyone, at specific person, you'll get that notification if it's directed towards you, if you're included in that tagging. So if someone adds you to a document, likes a comment, likes a message, does anything, so that way you get the most recent updates from that standpoint as well. And then 3, the third biggest one here is the all-powerful search bar, in that you can find literally anything that you are shared with on Quip, whether it's a person, a chat room, a document, a folder. If you can think of something to search for, you can find it here in the search bar. And it sounds obvious, it sounds super easy, and like, why is Brian even talking about this? But oftentimes I found a lot of authors don't know how to go about finding something, whether it's a template document or, hey, I lost this story that I was working on, where do I find it? Simply type into the search bar what it is, and I guarantee you will find it, because we name everything here on Quip in a self-explanatory way, as Carson will show you when you actually go about creating your own author folder here in just a second. The last big thing about Quip here, getting comfortable with it, is outside of Google Drive meets Slack, you're still struggling on how to use it, how to make the most of it. There's a folder here called Instructions How to Use Quip that if you're not yet added to it, Carson will add you to it by the end of today. And in that folder are other guides, instructions, tips, and tricks and things that you can know and learn about with Quip, so you can really use it to your fullest advantage in terms of downloading documents, creating copies of documents, how to do this, how to do that, so that way you can feel really comfortable with it. That being said, it's a far from complete guide. It's very robust and it has a lot of answers. But if you're still missing something, you're still struggling with how to use Quip effectively, just drop Carson a note, so that way he knows what's up, and then we can create a guide on how to do exactly what your specific question is. Because odds are, if you have that question on how to use Quip, other people do too. So just let us know, and we're more than happy to walk you through what those questions are, because the more comfortable you feel with Quip, just the more effective you are going to be overall going forward on this one. Because Quip is a great platform from a collaboration standpoint and a working standpoint. And when I can tell you so many times when I've seen authors work on Quip and they just have that aha moment of like, that's right. That's how this platform is supposed to work. This is how I can use it to my advantage. And I want to make sure, as you work with Carson, as you work with everyone else on your journey, that you really use Quip to your full potential. So ask questions, ask often, so that way you can become comfortable with it too. So with that, I'm going to leave it over to Carson here to walk through the process of creating your own author folder on Quip, and then creating copies of template documents that you're going to use from that templates folder and put it in your own author folder so you can begin working on things over the next couple of weeks here.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. Before we begin, does anyone have any questions about any of the features he talks about? You're all muted, remember, so if you want to talk, just unmute. It shouldn't be too difficult, and we'll start seeing. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen now, and all right. So I want you guys to all navigate to this page. Okay, it's kicking off September 8, 2018. On Monday night, I sent you guys a link that invited you to Quip. In whatever email you sent me as a like when you signed up for the program. So and if you haven't signed up for Quip, it'll have you create a profile and just navigate your way here. So I'll give you guys a couple minutes to do that. I see some people are already getting on. That's great. Yeah. If you have any questions, just ask now. Better have it addressed now than later. But it should be pretty straightforward. Also, as you get here, you might want to keep this as like a favorites in your like up here or whatever, because it's a pretty important page we'll be at. So just bookmarking it's always helpful. All right, great. I see most of you are on by now. I'll go to the next step. So you want to come to author materials now. Come to this page, and then go to this little corner up here, and this is the compose button. This is really like where you go to create everything. But once you're in this folder, hit compose, then new folder, and then create your author folder. So put your first and last name. I'm going to put Brian's first and last name since I already have my own folder. You just need to put your name. It doesn't really make a difference. You can choose like a fun color if you want to go for something rather than boring old yellow. I'm going to go with light green. Doesn't really matter. And then hit create. And I'll give you a couple seconds to do that too. This is going to be like one of your probably main place to upload content, upload just about everything, all your stories, your templates, all that stuff. So this is an important place to go to. All right. I'll give it another second to get a couple more people. Just make sure you have your folder. Great. All right. And then once you get back to that, I want you to go back to this author materials folder right here. So like with all the names. If you guys could watch my screen for a second, that'd be great. Go down to templates right here. All right, templates. And then this is important. Don't start clicking anything yet. But we want to get all three of these templates in our folder. But there's a very specific process to do so. So please watch and listen and make sure you do it right, because you can very easily make this really difficult. So what you want to do is you want to click on the document. We're going to do this for all three of these documents. So in search, and you want to go to document. You want to go to copy document, not move to another folder. You want to copy it first. So copy document. Then you want to copy it to private. Make sure that's selective. But you want to change the name to your name. I'm going to do Brian's name again. Then colon, whatever the name of the document originally was, and get rid of copy. This is really important to name it like this, because not only can you use the awesome search bar to find the document just by searching up your name, but it also makes it really easy for us. So then hit copy. And then from there, you go move to folder and then move to another folder. So I'm going to search up Brian Bees and then hit share. Here, I'll do that again for the other ones. Templates, okay. So you want to do these for all three, the research dashboard, interview dashboard, and stories index. So you go to document, copy document, then you want to rename it your first and last name, then whatever the colon, whatever the name of the document is, copy to private, hit copy. Then in the corner again, document, move to folder, move to another folder, then search up your name. And then hit share. So I'll give you guys a few minutes to do that. I'll be repeating the process in case you guys need some help. Make sure you copy the document first, because if you don't, you'll steal it away from everyone else's screen. So make sure you first hit copy document or copy spreadsheet, rename, copy to private, then move to another folder. If you have any questions about that, ask it now.
Hey, Carson, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah.
How do you get to the template screen?
Oh, yeah. Great question. Let me just move this one real quick.
Okay.
So it's under the author materials folder, which is here. Let me get to it. All right.
Oh,
So,
templates. I see it. Okay.
yeah, it's at the bottom, right here. Yeah.
Got it.
And make sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. No problem. And yeah, just I'll do the process again. So, copy document. Yeah. What's up?
Oh, Carson, when I was going to move it from, I created the copy and then I was going to move it to my folder.
Mhm.
Instead, I accidentally put it in a private folder. Where would it have gone?
Okay, so if it goes to your private, that's what you want to, that's the first step that we want. If it does that, then you can usually access your private by just searching up in the search bar. So like private, and it just it's right here. So I hope that helps.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see it. And then how do I just click on it and I can move it again?
Yeah. From there you hit move to another folder and then search up your name. But yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, no problem. But it's important to make sure that when you do move it, or when you copy it in the first place, you copy it to private. So yeah, I'll give you guys a couple minutes to do that. I'll start clicking around, seeing if you've done it. All right. Looks like some people have been. Oh, kind of.
For the naming convention, it's your name, colon, and then just what was there originally, or?
Yeah, like interview dashboard or research dashboard or stories index. Yep.
Okay.
And then I'll start talking about these a little bit while you guys are doing that, just what these mean, because you might be a little confused. So like stories index, this is where you're going to be tracking a lot of your guys' writing. You're not going to actually be writing on here. You're going to be writing in separate documents, but you will be putting like some really important parts of your stories, like the theme, the people you interviewed, but mainly like the word count over here. This stories index is our main tracker, I guess, for your progress. So it's really important that you guys, when we start using it, we start writing, that you continue to fill out this word count thing. As Brian will come back on in a second to tell you a little bit about who's on our team, but we have like a person whose entire job is to help you like stay on track of stuff, and her job really rests upon the fact that you update this word count. If you have like a bad week or something, it's like important to update it regardless. If you don't think you wrote a lot and you're embarrassed to like or anything like that, like please update it. It's important for us and important for you to track your spreadsheet, or just to track your progress. Then somebody did it wrong. You guys, you see what I'm saying? They moved the template away. I'll fix that in a second. But if you also the interviews and stories dashboard, this is also important when we start compiling content. If you guys want to, this will be like how you track who you're going to reach out to interviews, when you did interview them, what you like, the stories that have come through it, that kind of stuff. And the research dashboard, which someone kind of stole, is like for secondary interviews, which will be like more research. All this will be talked about by Eric, but I just wanted to emphasize that it's very important that you use these three tools very effectively, because they're going to be very important for you in your progress. So with that, I think I'm done with my demo, unless anyone has any questions, and I'll turn it back to Brian to talk a little bit more. Any questions? Nope. Okay.
Perfect. Thanks.
Wait, Carson, sorry. Could you add in the third one? Because I'm not sure I was able to get it before it was deleted.
I'm gonna do that right now. So just keep looking for it. Yeah.
Okay, so he'll add that as through the last bits here. But yeah, it's really important that you be very thoughtful about the organization of this. Make sure your name is on the document. Make sure that you copy the document, not move. Copy, then move. Just that way, everybody has access to it. And really being clear on the naming of it, because in a second here, as I break down who's on your team, it'll be very important that they can track everything with you and make sure they're on pace with what you're doing, regardless of what your progress rate week to week is. So that is where we're going to be doing everything in these author folders on Quip. But there's going to be one key space here that we're going to use to communicate week to week. And these are going to be updates rooms. And really what these rooms are going to be is it's going to be updates and then parentheses your name. So example, updates, parentheses, Brian Bees, updates, parentheses, Carson Shutter. You can search for yours up on Quip and then add it to your favorites. That'll be made for you by the end of the week. So that way you have that home base for communicating week to week, one-on-one with Carson and everybody else on your team. So that way everybody knows where you're at, what you're doing, all that awesome stuff. And specifically who's on your team, who are your teammates over the next several months here. The first big key player that's going to be on your team is Carson, President Carson Shutter. He's with you week in, week out, day in, day out, making sure that you're set up for success. And if you have questions, comments, concerns, things that come up along the way, he's a great first line of defense that is going to have the answer to your questions. Because he actually started on this whole journey with what we're doing with Creator Institute back last fall. So he's worked with authors from start to finish what the whole process looks like, and he can be really helpful as an awesome resource. And he's your main guy. The second big person on your team is Lynn. And if you know nothing else about Lynn, really you can just associate Lynn with logistics. She is your progress tracker week to week. She's going to be touching base with you on Monday of each week saying, hey, Carson, here are the 3 to 5 things that you got to do this week. And then at the end of the week on Friday, she's going to reach back out and say, hey, Carson, you did this. Number 1, great. You've done it. Number 2, so close. Not quite there yet. Keep going. Number 3, awesome stuff. Number 4, where is it? I can't find it. Number 5, do you have any questions about this one? And what she's going to do is just give you a report of exactly where you stand week to week. At the beginning of the week, here's what you got to do in order to succeed. And at the beginning of and at the end of the week, did you do it or did you not do it? Just simply with a report letting you know if it's done, not done, partially done. So that way you know week to week where you stand in terms of progress. The third key player, the teammate that you're going to meet in about a month or so from now, is going to be your developmental editor. And the role that they are really going to play with you is really help you hone in on creating your stories and elevating the quality of your storytelling. So that way, ultimately, when you create your manuscripts, it has a lot of awesome stories that you can share and include in that first draft that you submit in January. So that's someone who's going to join your team eventually. They're not going to be in your updates room at first, but they'll eventually join in. So just want to give you a heads up about that. The last teammates that are here with you on your journey are Eric and me. So as Carson said, I'm the big publishing guy that ultimately, when it comes time for you to publish your manuscript as a book, when you meet the new degree press standards for that one, I'm going to begin working with you in earnest on all of those pieces of covers, layouts, copy editing, getting it out there, and making sure you have a book you're proud of, all of that stuff. And then Eric, as you had calls with him, this past week and everything, his main focus with you is honing in on your manuscript direction, feeling really good about that one. And he's going to be alongside with you at various important juncture points on your journey here over the next several months. But by and large, Eric and I are going to be in the background. We're going to be the lurkers in these rooms that, if something big comes up, we need to have, a conversation, things like that, we'll totally do that. But it's mainly going to be President Carson, Lynn, and your DE week to week, day in, day out, who's going to be with you on the front lines of this one. So before I move on, does anybody have any questions about how these updates rooms work, who's on your team, and what to expect from that standpoint? Awesome. Cool. So the last thing that I really want to share with you all is a little bit of real talk about Quip and things that I've learned and seen over the past 100 plus authors that I've worked with. And one of the things I'll preface this with is I can already tell pretty much everyone here is fired up, excited, ready to go about what they're going to be doing over the next several months. And that's awesome. I'm excited about it. I've been using Eric and Carson over the past couple of days. I was like, oh my gosh, so cool to see all these new authors enter into the mix. It's just amazing to see. And I totally, see all of that with you now. But one of the things that you may be feeling right now is all that excitement. But eventually down the line, at some point, you're going to feel overwhelmed. You're going to feel like you've got too much going on in your life, like you're being pulled in different directions. Are you going to be able to make it or not? And there's going to reach that point where that thought's going to cross your mind, and you're not going to communicate with us as frequently on Quip week to week. And I say that full well knowing that a lot of you're going to be like, no, that's never going to be me. I'm always going to be there week to week. I'm on top of it. I'm a good person. All that stuff. That's great. Awesome that you're resonating with that. But what I will say is about 20 to 30% of you down the line at some point will drop off on Quip every so often. And Carson's going to reach back out to you and say, hey, what's up? Why haven't I heard from you? And that's totally okay. Like, I want to preface it, like, that's totally okay if that happens, but it will happen. So really, it's all about getting in front of it and being proactive. So that way you're set up for success. And the simple, honest way to do it, like I've seen this happen, over 100 times at this point with the authors I've worked with, is posting something on Quip, either in your updates room or on one of your dashboards or your stories index every couple of days, even if it's small, even if it's 200 words, even if it's only an interview, very small things frequently. Because the last thing you want to do is drop, 6,000 words, drop 10 interviews that you just had all, every 2 to 3 weeks, right? Fewer, bigger updates is one of the worst things you can do. If you do smaller, more frequent updates, you're going to be set up for success. Because at the end of the day, Lynn, Carson, and your DE, they succeed and fail by whether or not you update things frequently. So I say this knowing full well, you're going to be like, yeah, I can totally do that. That's easy. But life happens. You're going to reach a week where you have 3 midterms coming up and life is going to be brutal. Something's going to happen in your personal life, or it's going to be a tough week. You're going to have a difficult time writing, doing this, that, or the other thing. It's totally okay. All you got to do is just drop a note in Quip saying, hey, really tough week, keeping my head down. Hey, I got 3 midterms coming up. Can't talk right now. Hey, scored this awesome interview. Wanted to share this update with you. Really small things goes a long way in terms of your success. Because at the end of the day, I can talk from my own experience of like the painfulness of writing 30,000 words for my initial manuscript in 3 days, and tell you that is the worst thing that you should not do. And I know full well that like that will be a question that may come up down the line, and that's totally okay. But there's a way better way to do it, where if you pull a Carson of staying on top of things and communicating more frequently, you're going to be set up for success in the long run. And if you do that, we have liftoff. Rocket ships are going to be going into space, and we're going to be landing amongst the stars doing some pretty awesome stuff. It's cheesy, I know, but seriously, it's the truth. I've seen it happen dozens of times at this point. That I just take it as gospel at this point. So with that, I'll leave it off to Carson to add anything else in if he wants to, and close it out.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. I appreciate that. No, but definitely, Brian, I want to echo just some things that Brian's saying. It's definitely very important to stay organized and stay on top of it. Your stories index, your interview dashboard, your research dashboard are all going to be very important. And even if it is a little thing, please make sure you update it often. We're going to repeat this over and over, so this is the last time you'll hear it. But just being proactive, being organized is probably your best way for success. And yeah, so unless there's any other questions, this will be the end of the meeting. Make sure you get the Quip app on your phone and turn on notifications. That's an important thing we forgot to mention. That'll be very important. But other than that, if there's not any other questions, you guys are good to go. We'll see you on Sunday or Monday. Really excited to kick off this process, and yeah, I'm sure it's going to be great. So, yeah. All right. No questions. I'll end the meeting. See you guys. Have a good day.